Hi Starseeds, it's Sikaal and Opheana here, and we want to discuss trusting your gut, trusting your intuition in this video. We're cosmic shamans and teachers of universal consciousness.
Yes, so trusting your intuition. Wow. One of the biggest areas starseeds find very difficult, well, everybody finds very difficult actually, because in 3D, in the Matrix, it is taught to do the opposite all of the time, you know, right from the very beginning when you're a little baby and you're taught to behave a certain way, to speak a certain way, to behave appropriately, and then you go into school and you can't trust your intuition of wanting to do this or do that because the teacher says, no, it's time to, everybody's doing this now, so come and sit here. Oh, close your books, now it's time to do this. But my intuition tells me I want to go and play and learn about how the wind is working and why it's no, come on, I told you to do this, let's not do that. No, yeah. You don't need to go to the toilet now. No, you do not. You can see I got some fire in that one. And so every area of society is, do not trust your intuition, do not trust your gut, do what is right. And what is right, it goes against the intuition, because if everyone followed their intuition, we'd have a whole heap of empowered people, wouldn't we? And so there is a matrix, there is a 3D type of, you know, situation that is holding the species of humanity back, that wants to keep it, you know, topped, capped.
And where it is accepted, where you see it sometimes like in, you know, business decisions, or when you first meet someone, trust your gut. I mean, that's a saying that is being made, but a lot of people don't actually do it. You know, a lot of people aren't trained to use their intuition. They use more their mind and their logical thinking, even as starseeds, and especially when things are thick and veiled, when it's easy things and it's all pretty clear, you know, I get a bit of a gut feeling, okay. But when things are veiled and you're picking up empathic and telepathic messages, and you're getting spirit guidance and other types of guidance that might not be from your spirit, and you don't know from where you're getting it, and you're confused, and maybe you even have like some energy clearing you need to do, you have an entity or an implant, and it's all confusing. How do you know then what is your gut? What is your intuition? Well, that really honing that skill of trusting your gut, and deep down, it's the pocket that sits at the bottom of the consciousness ocean, where your spirit has this very clear point of connection, where you know, that's my gut. That's my deepest intuition on, even though everything looks right and feels right about this person, this situation, this project, this relationship, or it seems logical by all accounts to go left instead of right on these decisions. I don't know why, but I've got such a deep, peaceful feeling by going right. Then that's your gut. So we're not talking about the basic trust your gut, trust your intuition. We're talking about high level, multidimensional, spiritual trust your gut, trust your intuition, where you have to see through so many layers and so many impulses as a sensitive being, because, you know, it's kind of like you got your microphone amped all the way up, so you pick up all the minute little details of everything, and then you have to filter through that. So that's where a very strong anchor point of trusting your gut and acting on it, so you get the feedback loop that you were correct in assessing that that was spiritual guidance. And often the biggest decisions you've made in your life are part of where you know that that gut feeling, that intuition was clear, that that was the decision that needed to be made. And you can probably put a couple on a list that didn't make sense from the mind, or others told you it wasn't right, but you still trusted your gut. Now, as you raise in consciousness and the field gets more and more explosive in the sense of ascension energies, that really having that trusting your gut and trusting your intuition skill set honed is very important. So spending some time on it and really making decisions from it all the time is very important. And as you raise in consciousness, your sensitivity levels, your empathic level, your telepathic level, your pineal gland activation, all that stuff increases. So the stuff coming in from the field is only going to get more, and that's cool, but you still got to sift through and sort through that. And often it's a push-pull dynamic from so many different sides, and other people around you may have different things, and they have different guidance for you. And who do you trust? And there's these spiritual teachers and people telling you, and there's YouTube videos and there's courses, and what do you do? And what do I listen to? Who do I trust? It all feels kind of right. What's my next step? And is the guidance I'm getting right? Well, that's when you need to come to that deep point in the bottom of the consciousness ocean and find that anchor point, and that is trust your gut, that is trust your intuition on a high starseed, high initiate level.
Yes, and when you find that point, there will be parts of your personality later that will try to keep pulling you out of it with these areas of fears, of beliefs, of stories, of old habits that you have had, that you grew up with, that told you, oh no, that can't be right. I felt it really strongly then, but there's all these questions and doubts. Hold strong to that initial feeling within that depth.
Yep.
That real, oh no, but I felt that with this person. I knew there's something just wasn't right, but then they butted you up, and they sort of changed a little bit, and on a personality level, and you started to trust them. But then, actually my gut was right. So
eyes and ears.
And so that's an area. Eyes and ears is, don't always believe what you see or what you hear. Believe what you feel. Believe what you know. Believe your wisdom over everything.
Because you're heavily programmed that certain things, and you don't even know it. And you're programmed in the field as well through the collective consciousness programs of seeing and hearing and believing certain things, and automatically it puts you in a disadvantage because that's not the truth. And it's so confusing sometimes to see through these different veils, and that's why what Opheana was saying, to really come back to that point of getting that guidance from spirit.
Absolutely. There's that thing of just even what people are wearing can stuff with your mind.
Yeah.
If a man is wearing a suit with a tie, he's got authority, doesn't he? Or he's a suit man, or you judge him for being in 3D, or he's this or he's that, or whatever. It's different to someone who's wearing a t-shirt with holes in it and no shoes, and he's got some dirt on his face or paint on his arm or whatever. You would look at, if it was the same person in those two situations, those two outfits, you would judge them from your visual sight.
Even if you don't know what's happening, that all happens subconsciously.
Very
so
much,
you don't even really know, because when you start thinking about it, you're like, no, I understand the difference. But this is automatic millisecond stuff that happens all the time in your life.
Yes, and so what you need to do is to drop into that consciousness of knowing, of stillness, and coming back to that. And one of the areas that you can work on is each morning coming into that place of meditation, of contemplation, of stillness with self, so that you start your entire day from that rather than rushing and getting into, because you can't hear these signals of intuition, these gut signals, these feelings, because the energy and motion that moves through your body when you meet someone, when you're in a situation, they're guidance tools, they're communications from your guides, from your spirit, just from your innate knowingness. And so if you're rushing, if you've not made that contemplation time, you can't hear it. There's too much white noise going on. There's too much intense beta energy where the brainwaves are too fast. They can't read that deeper energy. And so, if you're right at the beginning of trying to hear your intuition, just ask for your guides to give you a word for the day. Okay, just about just start listening, start listening to, asking for your guides to assist you with your intuition. You can anchor temples of high level communication with the universe, of intuitive mastery. You can anchor temples of guidance and focused clarity. There are so many ways where you can just start to really enhance this area, and to always remember that we are in a situation where we have a physical body and we have a personality, and this personality always wants to keep you safe. And so remembering that even if you get this extraordinary, deep knowing, intuition, gut feeling, remember that, hold that as an anchor, because there's going to be personality bait coming to hook you into old ways, to keep you safe. No, oh, they're going to do that, they feel that about that person, but what if that person helps them with that, or this or that or the other. People find ways to trip themselves up due to not trusting their intuition, because the fears come up with the personality's beliefs and thought forms.
And this anchor we're talking about, this deep gut feeling, this high, let's call it a high initiate gut feeling or intuition, there's peace associated with it. So it's not a fearful feeling. We're not talking about, oh, I got to get out of this situation because there's danger. I mean, that's fine too, and that could be your gut feeling. But we're talking about on decisions, on direction in life, on projects, this working with this person, being in relationship with this person, living here, am I surrounded by the right people, all of those type of things. The right decision will have a peace within it, even if it's subtle, and it'll feel like spirit, it'll feel like home, it'll feel like the right call, even if you have no idea why and you can't back it up with any logical stuff. It's just a feeling there. Absolutely. Now, often we get questions from clients we work with and people who connect in with us and through the YouTube videos about people opening up to their abilities, and they start channeling, they get messages, they start receiving information from their spirit, from their guides, and they don't know if they can trust that information. Well, again, a quick reminder, what you want to go through first is to set up your energetic space properly, always. Your pillar, your temples, calling in your teams. Every meditation we do that, and we've done heaps of videos about it, so look those up. Temples
is an energetic space that you've heightened the frequency, the vibration around you, so that you only call in high frequency energies.
And so when you've done your energy, I mean, if you're going to be doing channeling without energetic prep, you can get all sorts. So that wouldn't be our advice. Our advice is always do your setup. It's like if you walk into a house with muddy boots, you're gonna get mud in the house. But if you have your boots nice and clean and white, you're not gonna get that mud anyway. That's all in other videos. So what I want to talk about is when you have your energetic space set up and then you start receiving that guidance, you're still going to have to learn where it's coming from. Is it from my guides? Is it from an ascended master? Is it from a team? Or do I have an implant that is infusing into my field but I haven't cleared it? And you don't have to be afraid of that, because that's part of your expansion mission. That's part of the galaxy. It's kind of like leaving your hometown and everything is a bit weird and scary because you've never been to the big city. Well, that's like that. It's like if you open up, you're going to learn about implants and entities. And we also have an energetic management video about that to watch, so that you know that your energy is clear and you feel good. So trusting your deep gut feeling, that's where I'm getting to, and your deep intuition around if your channeled information and your guidance is accurate and truly from your spirit, use that deep gut check for that as well. If something feels a little bit off or it's not right, then you're going to learn what part of it feels right to me and what doesn't. If you have a good gut and intuition feeling with it, trust that part of it, and maybe 70% in the beginning might be right and 30% just doesn't feel right, because that's when your personality jumped in, or that's when the implant transmitted some thoughts to you that weren't right and brought you off track. So your channeling will get clear, you'll trust it more by always having a base to go to, always trusting to go to, is this right? If it's not right, then don't trust all your channeling blindly, because a lot of people trust their channeling blindly. Why? Because they channeled it or somehow it came through. You got to learn that as well. It's a process of growing into the skill of trusting your channeling with your gut. Always go into that gut and that intuition And always having that feedback loop. Does this feel right to me? And it's okay that it's gonna be a process, and it's okay if your channeling starts off with 60% feels really spot on and 40% just kind of feels like could be personality or it doesn't really sit right. That's okay, because often you're trying to answer questions for yourself through your channeling that you desperately want to know,
Attachment,
like like, am I going to meet the person, or I'm going to move, I should have moved here, I'm going to win the lottery, all those type of questions personality wants to know, or what's my spiritual path, what's my mission here, who am I going to become, all that type of stuff. So you've got attachment when you're in your channel, but you got to learn to relax your channel as you receive information as well. So it's a process. It's kind of like learning to walk. You got to take it one step at a time. You're not just all of a sudden walking. And so let yourself expand through this and really trust this feels right and this might be right. So if it might be right, just kind of put it in a separate category for now and let yourself through the checking in with that deep gut feeling in that bottom of the consciousness ocean and that deep intuitive feeling. Always check in, and you'll get trust in your channeling very quickly if you always do your energetic prep and make sure your field is nice and clean.
Absolutely. And practice.
And you can all do it by practicing.
Yeah, practice. Perfect practice makes perfect. Now let's get rid of perfection. So just regularly checking in, regularly practicing channeling, regularly checking in with your guides, writing, doing a form of automatic writing where you just sit and you ask your presence to merge with you or your guides, or be in temple space with your spirit sitting in front of you as a symbol, or ascended master, whatever it is, and just call in that energy to be with you and just start writing, even if it's gobbledygook in the beginning where every 10th sentence you get a little bit of insight. Practice and practice and practice, and your confidence will absolutely grow with that. In the beginning, don't make huge life decisions on it, because maybe 30%, like Sikaal said, might be from personality or could be from a negative density being that doesn't want you to stay on track. And so it's not about being fearful or anything like that. Again, it is keeping a very clear space, but making practice time to get that muscle strong and to get the confidence up to be empowered in that space. Keep it grounded. Keep yourself in a place of centeredness, so that if you do get messages through, like Sikaal said, I'm going to win lottery or I'm going to meet that person there, just keep it really grounded and non-attached to what's coming through, because there will be some guidance there that you can act on, but sometimes it's about really sitting with it and getting to know what kind of energetic signature is your intuition. Okay, so this communication's coming through, I'll keep playing with that, I'll keep practicing that to find out how my system communicates with me, because again, as I said at the beginning, we were stripped of it. We came in as these divine children and we were stripped of listening to intuition. Some weren't to a certain extent, but most are. To be in this society, you wouldn't do most of what is taught out there in the world. You would follow your innate knowing, and the world would look completely different. You know that it would, because your innate knowing, you wouldn't treat beings like that. Most of us, everyone wouldn't be eating, killing and eating animals. A little child does not intuitively think, I am going to kill that beast and eat it. It's not intuitive. There she goes, that vegan stuff again. But it's really taught very strongly to disregard those things and to hold strong. You're in a job but you keep getting this intuition, this gut thing. I really need to, no, but it's a good job. I'm very successful and I'm getting a huge amount of money. Why would I leave? My parents are telling me I'm doing well. My friends are like, oh my God, you got the dream job. But I'm just done with it. My gut is telling me. But your mind is saying, no. So it's really about trusting deeply and letting go of all attachments, so that whatever information and communication comes through, you start to organically follow your flow, organically and synchronistically just listen and move through that, because that is where you're going to create the most powerful life for yourself.
Exactly, and that's when trusting your gut becomes an innate part of your life, and then it's no longer like, I've got to check in with my gut. it's incorporated in all that you do.
Infused, yeah.
And spirit is always communicating that through to you. One last thing on the channeling. When you do bring through messages, you write them or you speak messages or whatever your form of channeling is, just put the information you receive that you're not really sure on just in the maybe pile. Doesn't mean it's bad, just in the maybe pile. Might be right. And then let yourself evolve through that. And it's always going to be a journey. But ultimately where you're going to get to is that innate, deep, gut feeling, intuitive trust is the connection to spirit, is the connection from all your guides and your teams always talking to you, and nature, as we said in one of the other videos, and so many other ways of receiving information. And you'll know that it's built into all of your decisions. Why? Because your entire life is spirit based.
Yes.
And that's ultimately what you're moving towards. But if you're a little out of practice, you got to get back into that. So it's more than just, oh yeah, I always follow my intuition. I know what it is to trust my gut feeling. As the consciousness raises, the veils are thicker and more input comes into your field. So you've got to, again, grow that anchor point and let it become an innate part of you.
Yes, beautiful.
And your decision-making process in the world.
Beautiful. Well, many blessings.
Many blessings.
Really trust your own thoughts rather than believing the external. Come back to the internal. That is
Beautiful.
the truth. Really, that deep internal. Come back to your innate nature.
Yeah.
Like you're a child again. Teach yourself as you would teach a child. Unpeel all the programmings, the beliefs, the negative thought forms around trusting yourself. Stop lying to yourself. Stop, because the thing is, you may pick things up in the field telepathically and empathically, but you don't believe it because you were told as a child, no, that's not right. But you are actually receiving that information. So start to really get to know how your vehicle works.
Yeah, beautiful.
It's a very fulfilling experience to get the confidence there and to really re-empower that part in you. We love you guys. You take care and
So
we'll
many
see you
blessings.
next time.
See you next time.
Lots of love.
Bye.